Without further ado, His Excellency Dennis Francis.
Thank you, and good morning to everyone. Ms. Tulia Ackson, President of the Inter-Parliamentary Union, Excellencies, Parliamentarians of the world, ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome to the 2024 UN Parliamentary Hearing. It is my pleasure to co-host this annual event with Inter-Parliamentary Union President, on this occasion, Ms. Tulia Ackson, the third woman to head this renowned organization, and I would add, an act for the UN itself to emulate with more women in leadership roles. It is said that parliamentarians are to society as the soul is to the body. A view I share as I hear your energy and enthusiasm resound loudly through this august chamber. It is a sentiment clearly expressed in the opening of the preamble of the United Nations Charter, in the words, "We the peoples of the United Nations," a line that reminds governments and the United Nations member states that they are into a unique and cherished compact with those they serve. Maintaining this cardinal relationship is at the very heart of all that we do at the United Nations. Efforts that require and are enriched by strong, frank, and regular interactions with you, the parliamentarians, who by design embody the will of the people. From climate change and pandemics to food insecurity and violent armed conflict, the challenges confronting us today are too big for any one nation to handle alone. They transcend borders and weigh too heavily on any nation, big or small, and thus call for entrenched international cooperation among all nations, acting together across sectors and in collaboration with a range of stakeholders. Concurrently, no matter the issue, we see that global agendas simply cannot succeed without advocacy and progress at the national level. And so the role of parliamentarians is indispensable to all our endeavors. As President of the General Assembly, a universal forum often referred to as the Parliament of the world, I deeply value your partnership in channeling local concerns to the international stage, thus informing global debates and giving real meaning and impact to our multilateral decisions. Parliaments are essential platforms for dialogue and debate, discussion and compromise, arts and skills that are in high demand today as leaders increasingly resort to arms and militaries to resolve their disagreements. For these reasons, I wholeheartedly endorse the hearing's theme, putting an end to conflicts, prescriptions for a peaceful future. It comes at a critical time, a period punctuated by entrenched geopolitical tensions. With conflict spiraling in the Middle East, the war against Ukraine entering its third year, tensions perpetually rising on the Korean Peninsula, and the ever-growing violence in places like Sudan, Yemen, and Myanmar, it is clear that peace simply must be our foremost priority. And for good reason. Peace is the bedrock on which everything else is built. Peace is a top priority of my presidency and a prerequisite for achieving prosperity, progress, and sustainability for all. The three other pillars of the chosen theme for this 78th session of the General Assembly. I therefore urge you, esteemed parliamentarians, to make the most of this two-day event, to be innovative and inquisitive, frank yet empathetic, in suggesting ways we can revive the conditions for restoring global peace and security, to pave way for sustainable development, and thus to promote social justice. Let us use this hearing as an opportunity to answer such vexing questions as: how can we reinvigorate diplomacy and dialogue as the proper tools to resolve conflicts and uphold human rights? How can we engender better respect for international law and the purposes and principles of the UN Charter? How can we better invest in human security and guarantee the inclusion of all people and communities in the decisions we take? Esteemed parliamentarians, more than ever before, we need your valuable ideas on how to ensure our global ambitions align with the real needs of the people on the ground. This is all the more important as we prepare for the Summit of the Future, where world leaders will gather here in New York in September to forge a new global consensus on how to more effectively deliver for people and planet. As President of the General Assembly, I have prioritized this process as a once-in-a-generation opportunity to fast-track our efforts towards a more peaceful, secure, and sustainable world for all. And allow me to stress, for all. While member states are the main decision makers in this process, parliamentarians are critical to delivering transformative solutions, thus positioning the multilateral system to make a meaningful difference across our societies. In these efforts, I ask for your continued partnership. I wish you productive deliberations on the many issues you will cover in these 2 days, and I look forward to our continued collaboration for a shared future that is free from any fear or want. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency.